Now, I'm not the director. I'm just going to say I'm not the director of Hidden Heroes. I'm the co-director. Lorena is. And she's not here today, but afterwards I'll go ahead and speak on her behalf because she sent me something to say to y'all. So, yeah, we'll get through that. Now, a common question is, well, what is Hidden Heroes? Hidden Heroes is a program where we recognize an individual in our school who has impacted another and is a great influence. A hidden hero can be a student, teacher, administrator, or faculty member. And basically, a letter is written to the individual, and then we film their live reaction as they read the letter. They then write a letter as a nomination to another hidden hero, and the cycle continues. You can have basically as many cycles as you want when you're doing Hidden Heroes. We had 2 in the beginning of the year. We created one, and then the past Practicum members left off one for us. And actually, our first episode for season 2 this year was Amanda Landa, our president. So, no, you didn't. You didn't forget. You know you didn't forget. You're just being humble. So, that's the basics of Hidden Heroes, but what about the process? Well, the first process is getting permission. The Hidden Heroes crew must first get permission to record the individual before anything. Not everyone isn't comfortable on camera. We had an instance this year with Miss Lola T. Jimenez. And for those of you that don't know, she is I'm just going to say faculty member because I don't know her exact position. I don't want to ruin it. But she's over here and we're the, is it disciplinary office? Yeah. What, like the little office that's right next to the front entrance and in front of the library. And she wasn't comfortable in front of the camera. So what we went ahead and did was we recorded her audio. Like we went and took pictures of her office, gave her the letter, and then we had voiceover reading the letter. So that way we still had the episode. We still recognized that member. Amanda actually went ahead and did the voiceover for that episode.
It's honestly a really good episode, like out of all of them, because it's like, even though it's not, you're not seeing the person's reaction to the letter per se, but just the way that not the voiceover, but the way what the letter was actually saying, it was just so genuine, and it still gave the message that Hidden Heroes usually tends to do. So. Yeah,
it was great. And then you want to set the date with the hidden hero as to when it is a good time to record. And this is also really important because this sets up a schedule. Scheduling is super important when it comes to this kind of stuff. And do not tell them who wrote the letter under any circumstances, because you're supposed to be catching their live reaction. If they already know who wrote the letter, then it's just like, yeah. Step 2, get the equipment and the crew. Make sure to get all necessary equipment on recording day, such as 2 cameras, a telescoping lens, a boom mic, a lab mic, and of course the Hidden Hero letter. I don't want to count how many times I've had to look for that letter in a backpack or ask Amanda.
That you have someone reliable to
stay organized.
That doesn't have to do with Hidden Heroes, like just in general in teams.
A binder.
Yeah, a binder. Really a binder. It helps.
And as for the crew, you're always going to need a camera operator, at least 2, a boom mic operator, and a host. We have Michael Lorena is generally speaking the host. Michael Tobias is usually the boom mic operator, and Eric, Kayla, or me are usually the camera operators. It just depends on the episode who's hosting, because we all take turns hosting. Step 3, recording. So the crew has everything they need. Now it is time to record. I recommend getting a host who is comfortable with the individual who's getting recognized. So let's say we were doing Miss Rodriguez, the Stuco sponsor. Sponsor? Yeah. We went ahead and got Kayla for that one because she's in Stuco and she's comfortable with her. Whereas with me, I had Miss Diaz, the English teacher. So I presented the letter to her because I was the only one out of the crew that actually had her for a class and was comfortable with her. It's so that way, it's genuine at 100%. What do you mean? I didn't take AP, it was regular. She teaches AP in regular.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You want to make sure every crew member is doing their job correctly and comfortably. Know their strengths and their weaknesses. If you know that they're not very good with a camera, then put them on a boom mic or put them even as host, because sometimes they could be a really good host. And I recommend for the telescoping lens, get somebody with steady hands. I'm generally speaking the telescoping lens because I have somewhat steady hands on occasion. and you want to be sure to record an intro to each episode. What we go ahead and do for it is that we film like the actual episode. So we start it like, okay, guys, we're gonna go ahead and go into the classroom and go talk to so and so. So it starts from that point, but we do a little like natural transition, like a snap of the fingers, a clap, anything like that. And then when we come back, we just film a quick intro saying, "Hi guys, welcome to my name's Lorena La Fuente or William Beatty. Welcome to this episode of Hidden Heroes." And you just, yeah, and it's just so that way you have an introduction for each episode. And you want to record the subject and the host with 2 different cameras. Now this is extremely important because the whole purpose of Hidden Heroes is to also catch the reaction, and that's mainly what the telescoping lens is for. Is so that way you're not up close in their face when you're recording and making the subject feel uncomfortable. And you also want to get the person that, of course, is giving the letter to them and how they react as well. You want to catch both reactions with it. So have one camera focused on one person, one camera focused on the other. You want to have the individual read the letter out loud, of course. Watch it once they read it. Catch the smile. Notice the smile and the change on their face. This is why we do it. This is the most important thing to us. And afterwards, challenge them to write a letter to another individual who deserves to be a hidden hero. So that's the way this works. We get the individual, like let's say for Amanda, we chose Amanda, and we wrote her the letters and stuff, and she read them. And then she wrote a letter to Miss Diaz, who's the English teacher, and then she wrote a letter, and it keeps going on into a cycle. It's kind of like the ice bucket challenge. I don't know how well you guys all remember that, how they were nominating people and then it would just spiral. Step 4, editing. One thing about Hidden Heroes that I like is that you don't need a designated editor. It helps to constantly have an editor that's designated, but usually what happens is me and Lorena go back and forth depending on if we're busy, what we're doing, and how the week is. I cannot stress this next one enough. Make sure that all footage has been imported correctly. One of the last episodes we did, Miss Pasco, the assistant to Mr. Huerta, we recorded, and for almost that entire week, it started the week before. I went out of town. I had imported everything. I was like, oh man, everything's fine. Imported it. I had to go out of town for something, and Lorena's texting me, oh, where's the footage? I'm just like, oh, I imported it. And she managed to, she had to import it again because for some reason it didn't import correctly. It wasn't showing up in the computer for some reason. So she's like, okay, I'll go ahead and import it again. She did. Monday, I come and I'm just like, oh man, show me the progress. Like how are you doing? You need help with anything? We look and it corrupted the file for some reason. So the actual footage was corrupted in Final Cut Pro. So everything was basically erased. And so we're just like, oh, well, it's on an SD card. Mr. Sanchez has those things like a dime a dozen. It has to be in there. We went through like how many, sir? Like 20 or more
Twice.
SD cards twice.
We did it once, and then they were like, "Oh, we couldn't find it," and we were all bummed out because you cannot record that again. Like the Hidden Heroes, that authentic smile
You can't
is
do it
once, and that's it. So.
Did you spell
I kept on trying to look, so maybe,
And you managed to pull SD cards out, and we were looking at files from like back in 2009. Like that's how far back some of these files went. So it was funny to look at it.
Found it after we had given up hope. Let's go over it one more time. And we found some other ones, and
Ironically, it was also containing footage of Amanda as a freshman. Anyways,
oh, yeah.
You know what?
Yikes.
We cannot talk about
anyways,
that.
she had braces and everything. Anyways, but yeah, and it wasn't even all the footage. It was just one camera angle, but it was the most important camera angle. It was the telescoping. It was the one where you see the subject's reaction. You see the reaction. And so we really didn't want to like have to redo it or anything. We were going to work with what we had, but then even the audio was messed up. It like everything that yeah, it was terrible. You also want to be sure to add a background instrumental so that it doesn't get boring for the viewer. Like it can be any kind of instrumental. We use a Tupac song. I don't know the name. Dear Mama. And I mean, to me, it's kind of like, at me as a viewer, whenever I watch a video and there's no like background instrumental, especially a video like this, I get kind of like out of the zone when I'm watching it because I don't know. It's just something. Background music always helps sometimes. And then you also want to try a natural or smooth transition between intro and recording. So like I said, how we record the intro separately and then the actual like hidden hero bit. Just have a natural transition. I recommend like a snap or like a clap or something where you can cut on an action and such, and it looks really good. And then step 5, publishing. Once you're all finished editing, overlook the episode multiple times and see that it meets or exceeds your standards. And then you submit it to whomever is in charge of YouTube. So whenever I'm done, I'll go turn to Roland, Clutch Maestro, and I'll give it to him. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it goes to YouTube and the website and such. And job accomplished. Next episode. Overview. Hidden Heroes is an excellent opportunity, you guys. I cannot stress that enough. You're recognizing people that you see on a day-to-day basis, and that you may not take or they may think you take for granted or something, but in reality you don't. And it's like you're finally getting to express and show just how important they are to your life, and not just your life, but in general, a person's life. You want to make sure to have a reliable team. I have it's not my team, but my team is extremely reliable. I mean, I can count on Lorena, I can count on Michael, I can count on Kayla, Eric, everybody, that, hey, we're going to be recording on this day. Okay, no problem. We record, it's all good, and it's good content. Like Amanda said, stay organized. You really need to. Create different libraries in your Final Cut Pro. Make sure you have... Even if it's extras of the footage, just in case, multiple audio sources, and of course, keeping track of the letter, because the letter is the most important part. And you also have fun. Remember, you're putting a smile and making somebody's day better. You're really making somebody's day. I can't stress that enough. Miss Jimenez told us, and she was really impacted by the episode, and everybody in general. And it means a lot whenever you hear that. And the fact that you are making somebody's day is just all the better. But real quick, I'm going to go ahead and say what Lorena said, because she sadly isn't able to be here because she's working. She wanted me to let you know that she highly encourages you to continue Hidden Heroes because the show makes people feel happy, and it lifts up the mood, and it just makes a person's day a whole lot better. From the people I got to record, their reactions have warmed my heart, and seeing the smiles on their faces after they read their letter makes me incredibly happy, knowing it made their day a little bit better. It's the impact we, the Hidden Hero crew, make on them that makes it all worthwhile. Being part of this team has been one of the best things I've done my senior year, and I'm thankful I got to do it. That's from Lorena. So she really fought to save this, to keep this show going. And like Amanda said with EP Monthly, and like anything we do, what we're doing at Practicum in general, you don't have to continue doing it. Me, as the co-director, Lorena as director, we highly recommend that you do, because this is one of our big things, and it really means a lot to a lot of people. So
I'll add to that. I saw Miss Lola Jimenez and Miss Mel, and I showed it to them because I was wondering if they've seen it or not, and I showed it to them, and it was really nice because Miss Dolores Rodriguez, the art teacher, was the one that wrote it. And I mean, when you're an artist, like, you're not just an artist visually, like, you're all around artist, and Miss Rodriguez is that. And so the letter she wrote, and that video as a whole is so beautiful because she wrote it like poetically. And she told me later on, I saw Miss Rodriguez, and she told me, it's like, thanks for that opportunity. Had it not been for that suggestion and request, I would have always just felt the way I felt about Miss Jimenez and never told her. And it felt like this, I don't know, this catharsis of giving something nice to someone else just for the sake of giving it to them. And she thanked the program, she thanked me for helping. And it was something else was real nice, and I could tell. At the end of the letter, it says, I guess that's why you will not forever be now and forever the what?
The EPHS homecoming
Queen
princess.
or something like that. And so it's like, whoa, so you get a little bit of history. It's like, oh, Mrs. Lola Jimenez was, represented the queen or whatever at one point. It's like, wow. You see, and then when you think about his little face, like, isn't that something? Like, it's cool, because people think, like, right now as high school students, like if you're like, you got a lot of popularity and people like you, whatever it is, whatever field, whatever, cheer, football, whichever thing you're a part of, and for whatever reason people follow you. High school doesn't happen always, but it's a magical time in your life, and it's kind of nice to refer back to that for someone else's youth and something cool that they did and worked, you know? So anyway, it's a cool show, and hopefully we can have a season 3. Back to you guys.
So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Like I said, we highly recommend that you keep it going. I hope to see a season 3 and such, and who you guys are gonna nominate and be able to do an episode of, because there's so many people in the school, not only just faculty members but also students. Like, I was happy I was able to do Amanda, not for nothing, but
Coach G hasn't gotten chosen yet.
He should.